And welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the long break. We are here for the 7th and final round of Swiss here at Cowtown Throwdown, the last platinum event in the TopDeck Championship Series before the Invitational, and of course, the last opportunity for players to get one of their 3 placements as far as platinum events do go for their points on the leaderboard. And for some of these players in this pod, that's of course going to matter. But additionally, next round is the top 16. So there's a clear winning in at this pod for top 16, and there is quite a stacked lineup of players playing today. I'm here in the booth once again with Zane Nair. Zane, talk to me a little bit about these players and what they're playing and how this pod's going to play out.
All right, so here in first seed, we got Ian, comedian MTG. I'm sure many of our viewers, or all of our viewers, have heard of him. One of the premier CEDH players right now, bringing it back on Sisay. I know he really likes this deck right now for these big events. He plays Sisay when he wants to win. So pretty standard fare, I believe, on the Sisay deck. After that, we have in second seat Cody here on Timna Crom. Just another standard fare of Timna Crom. He needs this win to lock in the top 16 as well. All 4 of these players actually need this to win this game to get that top 16. I don't think any of them are allowed to draw. Maybe right. Eric could draw. He's at 16. Maybe 17 could make it. But there's 256 players. I think you need 18 points to make the cut. Ryan here on ROG side today. Formerly a ROG Thras player. He top 4'd Silicon Dynasty. He's made some top 16s before on ROG Thras. One of the innovators of ROG Thrasios. Builds the deck differently than Sam Black. And today he's bringing Rogsai, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. I told him to bring Rogsai to this event, and he's playing my list exactly.
Yeah, he's literally playing your 98, right?
Like yeah, his list is just my deck duplicated. That's the deck name, and I told him, like, hey Dan, if you're flying out from California to Columbus, just play Rogsai, just win. So I'm gonna feel real bad if he doesn't make the cut here.
If he really needs those points. Yeah, there's a lot on the line for you here in the booth well. A little bit of stake in Ryan on his Rogsai deck.
And then here in fourth seat, we got Eric on Corvold. Once again, we featured Eric earlier in this on this stream. He's back. He's back on Corvold. Fourth seat Corvold. Probably, I mean, 14 Colvard's not bad. Everyone plays their artifacts. You could just dockside win on turn 1. I wonder if that's what he's thinking. But let's see what happens here. We're looking at pod 6, by the way, if you guys are following along on the bracket page. And getting here into mulligans.
Clean winning in. Yeah, so the players are mulliganing here. I want to call out, of course, Ian here in first place, someone that is already locked for the end of the year championship. So he won the Boyle, one of the, I believe, the first platinum event, at the time the largest CDH event as well. That record now broken here basically constantly by these platinum events. Cowtown Throwdown, the latest to do it. 256 players. A capped event is Cowtown Throwdown. And Ian, like I said, locked, but looking to continue his streak. I mean, this is one of the winningest players. When you think about CEDH and people that are really kind of excelling in the format in the early stages now of competitive CEDH, or rather tournament CEDH, Ian Flannery is one of the faces. I mean, I've seen so many pictures of this guy just holding time twisters that were trophies for various CEDH tournaments. Just absolutely time twister flooded is Ian Flannery. And with this $12,000 prize pool, the sword as part of our collaboration of Iron Deck Tournament on the line, more opportunities to accumulate winnings and unique trophies that I think Ian is certainly very invested in. If he doesn't necessarily need the points, someone we're for sure going to be seeing at the TopDeck Invitational in August already.
Yeah, don't forget, this is a 12K, so just besides the points, there's a nice, cool cash prize waiting for these players in that top 16, top 4 game. And that nice sword, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I just want the sword. I mean, if I was playing this event, I want to play it all for the sword. We could, we can split the cash and do whatever we want with that. Points, I'm playing for points and a sword. And that's what I love about Magic tournaments, right? The cash prizes really do help keep the hobby sustained. But for me, when I was grinding, when I was playing events, it was always about everything else. We could split the cash, whatever. I got my plane ticket back. I got my entry back, all that stuff. Now it's time to play for the stuff I care about, those precious leaderboard points and the trophy. And that's what it's all about for me. And I imagine imagine that's true for a lot of these players as well. Is Ian, someone that does a lot of coaching as well, and
Right.
it's a great opportunity to just win every event every weekend and be like, all right, look, you guys want to learn from me? And Ian, very good at making those kinds of posts and presenting that kind of information. Awesome stuff from Ian Flannery. But a lot of very tough competition to go up against. All these decks, as this tournament has kind of progressed, we've seen the pods begin to take this shape again. We've seen this over and over again throughout the entire season this year of these top deck events. Just Sisay, Timnacrom, Rogsai, Kinnan, that same lineup of the top tier decks, but notably not really in spades. We're not seeing like any kind of like 4 blue farm decks. We're not seeing 4
Right.
Sisay decks. It's always really a good mixture, which I think is really interesting and speaks to, in my opinion, actually pretty healthy, diverse format with multiple different strategies and potential, kind of winning paths available to someone that wants to get into this kind of a format.
The meta has never been better, in my opinion. Obviously, I just one trick the same deck, but yeah, you could play anything, you could see anything. I think there's a lot of examples for any specific deck that you want to be playing, unless it's like really niche. But like top 15 decks or so, you could play any of those and win a tournament. And we're going here in the moles. We see Ian keeping A7. The team,
Yeah, he's been
Cody
done
here.
for a while.
Yeah, Cody here on 6, I believe. Ryan maybe going to 5 or 6, and then Eric keeping that first 7. So feeling pretty comfortable with the keep. I wonder if he just kept that dockside hand.
Yeah, Ryan reaching for the deck once again. Rogside doing what it does best, mulliganing very low. I see this over and over and over again. I've talked about it, I think, earlier in the show already in here at Cowtown. When we see Rogside on camera, the mulliganing process is going to take longer. It's a deck that I compared it to Vintage Dredge, where it's looking for Bizarre Baghdad, and if they find it, it's going to blow the doors off the game. There's some similar kind of effect going on with Rogside, where you can leverage the very powerful multiplayer mulligan, where you get a free mulligan, and you'll eventually find a hand that can blow the doors off the game. But, it does take some searching. There's not a critical mass of those kinds of cards. And even when there is, Necrodom now added to this deck list among other hits from MH3, they don't always show up in the right mix.
And I think this is the right pod to be mulling aggressively, because who's interacting with you? The TNK player? That's it. This is pretty much like, in terms of interaction, there's one player who can interact with you. The Corval's not interacting. Sisay may interact, but they run a lot of weird cards, low on interaction, as I believe a lot of 5-color decks are kind of low on interaction. That's like the secret that no one's talking about.
Yeah, you just can't afford to play it. You play like the best of the best, which is fine. Like, that's good in its own right, but does come at a cost. While we're still mulliganing, can you talk to me a little bit? I mean, you said Ryan's playing your Rogside list. What kind of MH3 developments have you made or tried and tested as a part of this list and we may be seeing here?
So MH3 brought us 2 new cards, Flare of Duplication and what's the other one? Necrodominance. Necrodominance, I know some people were very suspect on, but I think it has looked amazing in this deck as just another piece of payoff. Like, if we're playing Wheel of Misfortune, we're on playing Necrodominance. Necrodominance is better than Wheel of Misfortune. So still, both of those are still in my deck. I know some people are lower on the Wheel of Misfortune. Gone down to 23 lands, inspired by Tad after losing to him in Pun City 3.
Ooh.
And playing Flare of Duplication. I've done some pretty crazy stuff with Flare of Duplication just the other night against like another Sisay deck like this. I Flare of Duplication, their Chord of Calling, put my Thorkel into play, and then just consult it on top.
That's gas. I love that.
There's some wild stuff you can be doing.
I'm telling you, Fork's been underrated for so long as these players are underway. Ian, just a Taiga passing of the turn. No one mana play. Kept 7. Interesting tell there from Ian. As we move over to Cody, his TNK list, it's Scalding Tarn, very quickly cracked.
I think Ian's angling for a Worldly Tutor Dockside here, but wants to see how the board develops. It's my guess if I'm one of the other players.
Solid. Now, something we saw earlier with Eric in the pod, the dockside kind of impact changes a little bit, because if you play a dockside and don't immediately win, I mean, Eric has a lot of ways to kill it, reanimate it. He has a lot of ways to copy it, whatever. And of course, it feels his own. And given that dockside is really what the Corval deck is built around, it is the power of the deck is just finding dockside very quickly, making a large dockside count, and then using that to not just make mana but draw cards through Corval. You can't just play out docksides with make a bunch of mana pass the turn like we see a lot of these more responsible players do.
Right. All right, let's see what Cody has cooked up here. I imagine it's
Let's
just
go
going
and
to be
see the
deploying a
find.
quick value engine. I think that would be the best play to be making in this type of pod.
Well, I think Remora's not great. I mean, it's
Soul
good against
Ring coming
Rockside. That's like
out.
it. Soul Ring, a great start in my opinion, though. Follow up, one heck
Belwar,
of a follow
Dockside
up.
count 2.
4 mana for Cody. Great start. Very mana hungry deck is the TNK deck. 4 mana dialed up. But like you just mentioned, like the top of this table here, Ian and Corvold, Eric on Corvold, Ian on Sisse, both decks very interested in getting early large dockside. So this could be a little bit costly for Cody
Soul
as
Ring.
another Soul Ring here. This one
This
from
is
Orion.
mirroring the turn from Cody.
Yeah, Underground Sea. No Scalding Tarn involved yet. Is there a follow-up? No follow-up there. Just
No
colors man
follow-up.
available for Ryan. Can't expect to see interaction. Did not play Rog. Notable?
Did not play Rog. Maybe afraid of a Bowmasters? Not sure.
Raucous
Not
Theater, the
sh-
play from Eric. Bins a Pyroblast.
Passing the
And
turn. There's the Worldly Tutor.
oh, did you call it or did you call it? Worldly Tutor it is.
Just
Dockside
like
count only 3.
the Homer Simpson Bruce there, I also have a third eye for these things.
Yeah, I'm noticing this. Well, yeah, they all have. Well, they don't all have 3 eyes. Marge has some other stuff going on there. I assume that's a Marge Timda mashup with a third eye.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in these playmats. I'll tell you what.
Bloom Tender coming out. Okay, yeah. So
Bloom
I think
Tinder, the find.
Ian just holding that Worldly Tutor, trying to keep his options open. If everyone dumps artifacts, he just looks for the dockside and tries to get something going there. But as it sees that, dockside counts 3, not good enough. I'm just going to get the Bloom Tender. I'm going to drop basically a Black Lotus, hopefully soon with this Bloom Tender. And that will be another avenue. Because Bloom Tender, I think, you should not underrate that card in these Sisse decks. If you see these Sisse decks have a Bloom Tender out, you should be on high alert. It's a very scary. Pretty much, I think every time I lose to Sisse, it's not from their dockside. It's actually from this Bloom Tender. So
yeah, I mean, it just makes so much mana. They have so many ways to untap it, and I mean, it can be a very large problem. And as you just mentioned, kind of works when dockside doesn't, and that's like a big part, not just of Bloom Tender's inclusion, but actually of Worldly Tutor. I think a lot of CDH players can kind of get a little bit mixed up about why decks will play Worldly Tutor, not Sylvan Tutor as well. Quick check on Ian's deck to see if he plays one, but sorcery speed versus instant speed matters a lot. A lot can change in one turn cycle for these players, and being able to keep that option open to grab either or and not have to make the decision right away is a big deal.
is it a Mystic Remora?
Unclear. I believe that is a Mystic Remora signed all kinds of different ways. So I think, yeah, here's a Mystic Remora. And the turn 2 Mystic Remora, a lot better than the turn 1 Mystic Remora. Mana to pay forever and continue to develop.
That Remora is not going away. Pretty heads up play here. And I think maybe Cody wanted to deploy that on turn 1, but Ian had the Taiga, no blue land, so unable to use that Felwar Stone to deploy it.
Felwar Stone, much worse than Arcane Signet. You're right. Tough.
Talisman, etc. Yeah, that's why I like the Talisman. So the Felwar Stone can just really mess you up.
And maybe it did. I mean, not that it's necessarily too late. Not too many creature spells developed.
Yeah, it's
just
fine.
A Soul Ring
Nothing happened.
And a
so.
Worldly Tutor. Yeah, here's City of Brass, very quickly tapping that one. And
3 mana. This is going to be a turn 2 Ristic. Maybe? No, because you tap the City of Brass. 2 mana.
Oh, nope. Retapping here a little bit. Back up on life. So it looks like, yeah, we're using 2 mana with the colors floating. That's Demonic Tutor.
Demonic Tutor. Maybe trying to look for a Remora of our own?
Again, no Rog put into play yet. Very patient with the Rog. And this may be just kind of an adaptation to, like you mentioned, Bowmasters, the additional removal spells that are available as creatures continue to get better in this format. Just not getting your Rog picked off as kind of free value is becoming part of the game, I think. And some respect to that, I think is quite impressive.
Going to cast the dockside here, maybe? Yeah. No, that's
it's Cabal Ritual time. That's going to trigger Mr. Kimura again. Is this just win mentality at work?
Dropping the Necro here?
Yeah, it has to be Necro, I imagine. Though not leading on the rituals a little.
There it is.
Yeah, it is Necropotence. That'll trigger one more time.
Necro being an enchantment is harder to counter, but we've drawn 3 cards. We've cast 3 spells. Are we going to see an MBT? 2 opponents tapped out here. I don't think Cody has anything.
It resolved.
Yeah, there it is. All right. I think we're just going to pay 10.
Oh,
and
maybe not.
Pass.
We're shuffling. We're not. we're not paying. I thought we were picking up our deck to pay life, but no, we're actually shuffling. So
I think we're
I think the
shuffling
players
our
are still
hand
talking.
in such a way that it's gonna resolve, but who knows?
Oh, okay. We're looking at
Before.
body language to determine that it resolves. Here we
It's
go.
very important to look at body language in these CDH games, and then that's why I like to distract my opponents with like foreign cards and things, so that like they have to like
That's distracting.
exert extra pressure while I'm just sitting there going like, what's
Ooh,
going
look
on
at Ian's
here?
hand
Almost
there.
like a game of
Awesome.
poker, you know?
Relic of Legends action. Okay, I think we revealed a card. Maybe no. Okay, we're good actually. So we just got to shuffle a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, I'll say Cody not really sitting like someone that is planning on countering this. Can't get a great look at the hand.
Yeah, you
Because
know these TNK decks, they never have interaction, they never have win, they just have ways to draw more.
we just
No,
saw
just
Bailey
kidding.
have a double backed up turn 3 2 win with Thassa's Oracle Consult. That was our round 6. Now this is round 7, the last round of Swiss. These players are playing for top 16. A lot on the line here for these players, both in terms of cash prizes, points, and of course the first place prize of a sword on the menu for any
I
of these
like
players.
the heads up play with the Cabal ritual, by the way. Dodging the misstep. Want to calculate what types of interaction your opponents might have. I don't know, just something to think about. He knows he's not going to get the Born off with that Soul Ring mana, so
Okay, yeah, look at that life payments. Necro's definitely resolving, and still no Rog in play.
I mean, he could put the Rog in play right after this, but who knows?
Yeah, it does give away a little bit there. I think on the turn you're going to cast. Maybe you're trying to play around MBT, so that could be a big deal. But no, that could still be. We did Dark
No
Red
Rog
Cabal,
in play.
so
Yeah.
it doesn't even matter. Yeah, we're just picking the cards up. Don't even need Rog. And I mean, if you're planning on passing the turn, I mean, it does turn off your Fierces and Swats. You could draw from Necro, but again, protects your Rog if you're going to need it for a win next turn from any kind of Bowmaster stuff. I'll say this: it's untraditional to hide Rog like this, but I don't hate it.
Yeah. I not something that I would do, but I'm not the one who's playing here.
I mean, we're in the booth for a reason, you know. Ryan's here playing for top 16 for a reason. So I'm just saying it's something I haven't really seen much of before, but it could come up huge here. Multiple Bowmasters available at this table.
Yeah, really playing around that Bowie, being like, if the Bowie's going to come down, I don't want it hitting my Rog, which is a juicy target. Just hit that Bloomy just in case. I don't know. Maybe playing around incompetence.
Well, I mean, there's a fish in play. It's going to hit everything.
Yeah.
You know,
right,
any Bowmasters
right.
involved in this board is going to look really, really good with that Mystic War in play for Cody. Now, making some decisions on the hand is Ryan.
Making decisions, he needs to see another turn. If he sees another turn, I'm pretty sure Ryan takes the game away, but Dockside looking pretty fed. Ian may be wondering, should I have waited on the Worldly Tutor? Maybe the first seat working against him here. And
yeah, I mean,
Eric
no Necro is going to resolve necessarily. Things definitely look different, and Necro doesn't resolve. As here is the discards into exile. There will, of course, be triggers to put these cards into exile. Now, I have to ask you this. It looks like he drew a modest amount, 10 cards, looking to survive the turn, but there's no pressure in play. Do you like the number he drew there? Would you have drawn more?
I'm a big preacher of paying 10 into the Necro if you're not winning. I don't like playing half your life total. I like playing, this is some coaching. You don't have to pay me for this one.
Oh, here
I like paying for my maximum hand size divided by or multiplied by 2. So I have that many cards in hand, or approximately that many cards in hand. Ryan paying 10, going to 13 cards in hand. Maybe I would have paid 11 to see 14 and then
I usually paid
half of the best cards.
I have no math like you, but I usually paid 11 and 12. So I think that our numbers actually aligned, but mine was just vibes.
All right. Dark Ritual coming out.
Eric getting things started. Sparks flying. Cards drawing. For in the case of Cody and his Mystic Remora. Here comes 3 black.
Another Necro.
Oh, that would be a little Necro on Necro action. Oh, maybe not. Black floating. It's Demonic Tutor.
Going for the Dockside here.
And Dockside, like you mentioned, looking quite a bit juicier.
Makes
Total
5.
5. That's Corvold mana.
That is, in fact, Corvold mana. Do we have additional lands or something to get something going here? I don't know. We haven't played out the land yet.
Ancient Tomb would be huge.
Holding your lands back, always a smart play. If you play enough limited, you know to do this, right? Not always, but sometimes.
Limited, you like discard them to like random stuff or whatever, you know. But
yeah,
here, I mean, there's not as much of that going on. I think, okay, I'm going to say this. I think holding your lands as a strategy gets better the longer the games go. And CEDH, notably, the games don't go that long. So I think you should just kind of play your lands. Not clear. Unclear. I guess we have brainstorming deck. Whatever. We're speculating. Eric is searching. So talk to me a little bit here about the critical mass of what Corvold needs to actually have a good shot at winning the game. So we know a lot of the Corvold stuff already. We've seen this deck before. We've even seen Eric on camera so far this weekend. But when it comes to Corvold actually winning the game, we've seen Eric put Corvold in play with like 3 treasures left over, draw a few cards, make some mana, and then have to pass the turn, and someone else ended up winning. Is that common? Is that something you need more than 3 treasures? What is the critical mass of treasures we need to really basically more or less soft guarantee the game is locked up for Corvold?
Generally, these dockside decks need to make like 6 treasures to get going. He's making 5 right now, but I think Eric sees the window closing on his opportunity to even win this game in the 4th seat with the Necro deployed right before him. In the face of a Remora, he's just saying, hey, I'm going to just try to get something going here because I don't think I'm getting another turn. Cody here being the big beneficiary of all of this with the Remora out. He can kind of just draw a bunch of cards. Ryan kind of sweating on the turn order here, being like, damn, I wish I was before this Remora. Now he's going to draw a bunch of cards, and they're going to just tell me to pound sand because I'm the one with the Necro. So if I don't want to lose, I gotta win the game. Okay, we're just putting a
yeah, hold on. For turn, and Elves of Deep Shadow deployed.
I may have spoken too soon.
There's Entomb. So we're going to go Entombing. We have no mana floating now, so that uses the last black. Yeah, we had 3 black, then we deployed Elves of Deep Shadow. So we're going to go Entomb, and I have to imagine we're entombing the docks. But then why didn't we just grab the dockside with the Demonic Tutor?
I don't know. Let's see what's going on. I may be looking like a clown here.
Like post-mortem lunge and mana. I don't know. That doesn't make sense either. Very interesting. This Elves of Deep Shadow, strange card to deploy. His
dockside going to the yard. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Dockside's in the graveyard. Very easy to reanimate. That's why Corvold plays the Entomb. A lot of reanimate effects. No mana floating for Eric.
No mana floating, passing turn, putting a gun on the table and just passing. Interesting.
Multiple players now. Ryan with his Necropotence, Eric with Dockside in the yard, 2 guns on the table, I'd argue, and Ian with just a Bloom Tinder. You mentioned it's strong. Is it strong enough to win him the game now? Because he's out of time. Cody's about to untap with a lot of cards.
Dockside Extortionist coming down. He had it in hand.
He already had the Dockside, so Bloom Tinder is going to now make 2 if that resolves. And if it does resolve, it is still going to make the aforementioned 5 treasures. And it looks like it will resolve. So here comes 5 treasures.
Really dire for the table now. Ryan, maybe
Dockside with Sisay, that's... We can keep playing. But I think
you
can actually safely deploy. You can deploy Sisay and activate it, right? And that's game over. Oh, we have Mana Crypt too. All right, we have Mana in Spades. Interaction has to come down for Ian, or he has, I believe, if you're familiar with Sisay, I believe this is a face-up win.
Yeah,
we
this is
play Sisay, we have the mana to activate it, and the win will be face-up just from the tutor targets available in the Sisay deck. Now, I don't know if players are familiar with this, and I have lost to not understanding that this was a face-up win. And, of course, it can involve Teferi Time Raveler, I believe is the first grab, too, just to pick up and then replay Dockside. I think we have the extra mana for that, thanks to Mana Crypt. We have 4.
I think if the Necro resolved, I think the Sisay's resolving, and Ian sees that opportunity.
So can he win at instant speed? Can he pass the turn and try to pick a spot that's a little better now that all the stuff he has to play at surgery speed works? I'm not sure going on. Speed wins.
Can I get the C-SPAN camera? There's a lot of hand motions. Maybe he's saying, hey, I don't actually win the game here. Ryan and Ian talking right now. But everyone's pointing at this Remora player. Cody's sitting back going like, And is that a dress down I see in Cody's hand?
Oh, that would be nasty against Ian's combo. And this is part of why I think that you would potentially want to wait. Although really patient by Cody if there is a dress down. As he is showing a card. We get a look at that. Showing a card to Ryan. Those players working together. Like I said, this is lethal.
He's not on dress down, so it's something else.
Can't be dressed down. Not on dress down. Would be a timely dress down. Very good against Sisse in this kind of spot. Cody is on dress down. Are you good over there?
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Wait,
I'm not good.
I lied to you. No, Cody is not on dress down.
All right.
I was
Are
looking
you good
at
over
Ryan's
there?
on dress down. I'm not good over there. You're right. I am just absolutely confused by everything resolving. Here is Swords of Plowshares in response to the activation. Okay. So first of all, what do we swords? I can't see what's being targeted, but do you swords the Dockside or do you swords the Sisse?
Or the Bloom Tender?
Well, the Bloom Tender could just make mana in response. Oh no, we're doing this Sisse on the stack, so you're right. We could just swords the Bloom Tender, and then the Teferi Wind doesn't work. And that's the best one to put down further interaction. So we are
tapping in mana.
If we're swords the Dockside, you need to make the 2 mana now, I guess. Oh no, it doesn't matter. What are we swordsing here? Are we swordsing the Bloom Tender?
I think it's the Bloom Tender, because if he brings out a Tyvar or something, I don't know. I'm gonna be real with you.
Yeah, this is strange. So okay, I guess we're swordsing the Bloom Tender with the Sisse on the stack. So now we only have 6 mana. Is that enough to activate Sisse and then get another Dockside trigger?
I see, what is that? 4 treasures, 5, 6 mana? The 1 Sisse activation? Is that good enough?
So she'll have 2 power.
3 mana getting used here. For flickering, so we have swords the wrong target here. We have swords the wrong target.
Healy's another Dockside and 2 colors for points of power, because Sisse only checks for legendary permanents to grow the power. So Sisse now a 4 power creature, and Saheeli plus Dockside. That is
you're so cooked here.
Super lethal.
You are dead, Ian. Yeah, there. You got to read the card. You got to understand that. You are losing here. This is so
tricky. Sisse is such a tricky deck, and Ian, someone known for a lot of politicking, we saw a lot of conversation there. I mean, like I said, I can't help but feel like Swords to the Plowshares went after the wrong thing.
And Ryan may be hoping, damn, should I have played that Rograk? I could have fierced this. I don't know.
I mean, if he has Fierce, it's not even clear what he does have. A lot of cards in hand. Saheeli does trigger Mystic Remora, so there should. How many cards does Cody need to find to actually have some interaction?
I think these guys are. I think they're dead. I think this is it.
Oh my God, Saheeli making a copy of Dockside Extortionist. That will make 5 more treasures. And now with Sisse at 4 power, I mean, we're back online for Teferi, and I think we can even just grab Emil, right? We can just make that work right away.
Yeah.
Teferi's the safer way to do it. And I mean, he's tutoring. They let him tutor. Here comes Teferi. And Ian looking like he's going to punch his ticket to the top 16 right here. And what a brutal Swords to Plowshares that, I mean, really...
now that I think about it, I don't think it mattered what they target. I think it's a forked play, because I think the Bloom Tender comes in with haste with Saheeli, allowing the Emil to come down.
So that's still Emil combos?
Yeah, I think they're done. So
how do you cast the Saheeli? Do you have the colors?
You do. You always have the colors, even if the Bloom Tender
right, because the treasures are still left over. No, you can source the Sisse in response to the first activation, though, right?
Yeah, you would maybe need to swords the Sisse there, and
because then you swords the Sisse. And there's not enough mana for Emil, but I think you still get got by Saheeli in that case. So the Saheeli in hand, actually the ace in the hole that makes the swords irrelevant, maybe no matter what.
Yeah, I think so.
Just a second Dockside, so powerful. Second Bloom Tender, also so powerful. And you mentioned early in the show, as he was casting Worldly Tutor, that he was going for really either Dockside or Bloom Tender. With him having access to both, I mean, his mana was just figured out. And now Sisse doing what it does best, winning through weird legendary loops. And like I said, Teferi's going to pick up the Dockside. Dockside redeployed. Dockside going to be able to be activated Sisse going to be activated right away. Going to grab Emil, combo out, do the Sisse loop, and that's game.
Dreams being crushed. That's it. GG, no re. You do not get a third turn.
Yeah, everybody.
3 dreams being crushed here.
Putting the gun on the table, as you said.
Yeah.
And Mystic Remora, not good enough to get the job done for the TNK deck. And this is an effect I've seen at play over and over again at these tournaments. Decks like Kinnan, decks like Sisay really prey on people that think their Mystic Remora is going to allow them to live a long time. These decks just play so well under Remora. Sisay, Kinnan, there's others too, but like those are the top two that really just, they play underneath it. They don't care. Oh, okay,
Exactly.
Mystic Remora, what? We triggered it once in our entire combo? Crazy.
And I wonder there if, I don't know if maybe Ryan could have picked up a Dockside instead of a Cabal Ritual in that game. Played the Necro, have one treasure up, and then just look for that.
I think he demonic
fortune
tutored
or
for the
burn.
Necro, so he had the Cabal Ritual already.
I see.
And then he just led on demonic tutor and then followed up.
You're right.
So he searched for the Necro.
Right.
Now I don't know if there's something better to grab other than Necro. I really liked the Necro in the spot, but I mean, once again, maybe you're supposed to go deeper, try to find interaction, knowing that the doors are kind of blown open a little bit on the game, get that ROG in play, have some interaction available, really be able to get involved in the interaction. And we see, a little bit of conversation after the game. I really can't help but feel like Ryan with a Necro in play could have dug a little bit deeper for some interaction to guarantee a next turn.
That's true. You need to see that next turn, but it's tough. Let's I don't know if it's possible, Mr. Stream Man Alex. If we can get Ian here for some sort of interview, get the fan favorite. I know a lot of fans, coaching students, etc., are watching. We'll throw him the
like
free
I said,
advert.
Give him an opportunity to talk about his coaching. I really want to talk about Ian's CEDH journey up to this point too. As I mentioned, number 2 on our leaderboard, and someone that is very successful in CEDH at large, had kind of a rough start to this tournament, entered this day, I believe, at 2-3. Now punching his ticket to top 16 once again, really, able to get it done with his back against the wall. So yeah, we're going to be getting him over in just a minute. I want to take an opportunity to talk a little bit about what's next going on with the TopDeck Championship Series while we get Ian situated. So remember, this is the 7th and final round of Swiss. After this, there will be a cut to the top 16, which will function as the semifinals for the tournament. And then the winners of all 4 of those top 16 pods will face off in the finals for their chance at a direct qualification for the end of the year or into the season TopDeck Championship Series Invitational, which is a 64-person tournament with a $15,000 prize pool. And of course, they're also winning a ton of TopDeck Championship Series points, as well as a sword as part of our collaboration with the Iron Deck tournament. Their entire series is very good. Check them out on YouTube. Very, very big fan of their work, and big fan of the swords they give out for trophies. Very unique, and a very unique trophy that I'm sure all these players are very interested in winning. So there's a lot on the line in these finals. There's a lot on the line for these players, and we're going to have a top 16 taking shape right now, as I believe we are getting ready to do an interview.
All righty.
Ian. Yeah, Ian packing up. I actually have eyes on Ian right now, and he is he's got to move all his stuff around, get his dice box refigured out, all that kind of good stuff. Does Ian Flannery. Number 2 on our leaderboard.
Ian Cam. We're stalking him here on stream. He's putting away those Sisay cards. And what is that deck box? Is that a deck box of his partner, Lewis Stardust? I think so, with the Mystery Mobile. I don't know where you can get that, but very cool. All right, he's moving in his classic sleeveless demeanor, and we're going to bring him on for an interview.
Sleeveless demeanor, huh? All right, well, I believe that you are going to be taking this interview away. So with Ian on the way, very excited to hear about his CEDH journey in general and in this tournament. Hear a little bit more about how this has played out. His choice of Sisay for this event from Ian here in just a moment.
Hello, Ian.
Hi,
how
it going,
are
guys?
You doing? It's good.
Feeling good right now, for sure.
So that was your winning in, right?
It was.
How's this tournament been going for you otherwise?
It's been a fluctuation between like some really interesting and like captivating games with like a lot of back and forth, and then just some like you could even argue, like, obviously I was favored there in that position, right? The turn order matters.game have been way too many this tournament, and I don't really know what's in the water, but it's like, yeah, every time I'm in fourth, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, person in first wins, and every time I'm in first, it's like, oh yeah, person in first wins.
Gotcha. So from what I know about you, you bring Sisse out when you want to win these tournaments. You've already qualified for the TopDeck Championship Series. I think it was on Kinnan previously.
Yeah.
Yes. Why bring out Sisse? Why bring out the big guns? You want that sword?
Honestly, for me, it's I mean, first of all, yes, I do want that sword. But second of all, I have. I mean, now with today, obviously that's putting me into the top 16. But I was able to win the Boil, but struck out on the other 2 platinum events, and that doesn't sit well with me. I'm someone who loves this game and I love to compete, and so sitting out of it definitely was not the vibe.
Despite that, still second on the leaderboard, so big congrats there.
Yes, my other sort of reasoning there was Jorman was originally not supposed to come to this tournament, and I was like, oh, I could actually maybe pass him if I do well today, and still looking like potentially that is the case, and it would just be a warm feeling inside to take that #1 spot for sure, if that's possible.
Gotcha. Now, Modern Horizons 3 still fresh on the scene. Did Sisse get any improvements with that set?
So, funny enough, I have a card in there from the set today. I had a bunch of spicy packages the last minute. I was like, no, we're not doing a secret Nadu in the 99. It's just not worth it. But I have one card in the deck. I had the chance to tutor for it once. I said, no, it's going to look too scary, and then I put it back in my deck. So that's the only interaction I've had with it the whole time. The deck is like it was pre-MH3.
I see. Gotcha. I know some people were like, oh, Sisse gets Necro Dominance to tutor out, which is cool. That was
definitely a take that I thoroughly disagree with. I don't think Necro Dom is the vibe of Sisse for sure.
For sure. All right. Well, you're locked for top 16. Do you have any dream matchups you want to see going into that, or are you just ready for anything?
I've been going on record saying I've seen 8 or 9 Oppos in the first 6 rounds of this tournament. So if I could just see just like less, just less of that would be awesome for sure.
Gotcha. Okay. Otherwise, how have you been liking the event? I know this is the biggest CEDH tournament. Unfortunately, I'm not there, but how's the vibe? How you feeling? I'm sure you're meeting a lot of your coaches and other things like that. It's great.
Yeah, honestly, like it's been really cool. A lot of people I have worked with have been like, in the winners bracket with me, and like people I've either played against or played with, or they're in the table right next to me, right? And like obviously that makes me so proud as a coach to like, and to the fact that they're doing that alongside tournaments where some of the best players in the world are not in the top 16 right now. Like a bunch of them are not doing well in this tournament. It's a tough field. Maybe people are a little on the aggressive side play pattern wise. I think you're definitely starting to see a shift towards I think this kind of happened post lying scandal, but people are like just way more nervous to like have conversations in general, right? So decks that are more proactive, more aggressive, don't need to talk as much. They're just kind of thriving right now. That being said, the event itself, super awesome. The space here is like one of my favorite spaces to do an event at. It's like right in this hotel. I'm not even staying at the hotel, but it's gorgeous in here. Great play space, super safe environment, and the community is. I don't know if there's something in the water this week, but everyone's awesome. Like everyone just is bringing their top mental capacity, jokes, laughs, party time. Like it's great, man. It's great.
That's great to hear. I mean. And like you said, like a lot of top players not making it right now in these top 16 and whatnot. I just tweeted earlier that there's so many good CEDH players right now. There's so many. This invitational is going to be stacked. Is there anyone you want to like? Anyone you want to play against? Anyone you're like, I'm afraid of this player? I don't know, any rivalries developing as we move into that envy? I know you just said you wanted to pass Jorman.
Yes, I did. Jorman's like, there's a bunch of people here who are participating who I have nothing but respect for. Like the format has gotten so much better, and there are straight murderers out here just ready to take your money and walk away with it, right? So like, anyone who even has 3 wins in this tournament, who has 2 wins and a bunch of draws, like they're all insane players. And I feel like I'm giving like a very politician answer here. Like everybody's great, but like legitimately everyone's awesome. Like there's so many great players in here. All I'm hoping for is, that I go into the pod, and this is so consistently with the people who are at the top, but like that everyone's feeling like you can play the best CEDH in the world and also
Right.
still feel like you can crack jokes. Like that's all I ever want, man. It's like the pivot between
Yeah.
you know making a dad joke and then being like, also I put this on the stack.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, as I wrap up this interview, anyone or anything you want to shout out? Floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I probably should give myself some sort of shout out, right? Yeah, comedian MTG, youtube.com/, for any CEDH content, if you're interested in that. I do coverage on a lot of these wonderful tournament reports. That TopDeck is the name of the game. If you're watching the stream and you haven't done it before, keep watching these. This is awesome. But no, honestly, this is like, I have to shout out everyone who's responsible for organizing these because it's awesome. You guys have done a great job and super happy to be here. So.
Thank you. Alrighty. Well, that's about it.
All right. Peace, guys.
I think we got peace. We got about 40 minutes still on the clock, so go enjoy your break before top.
Yeah, some fast wins. Yeah. Wow. And great to hear from Ian. And honestly, what a great story too. Having him kind of battle back and make his way into yet another top 16, already added to a bloated resume for comedian MTG, someone who has really just dominated the CEDH scene since day one. And
yeah.
I mean, like I said, we'll be seeing more of him in top 16. Both of these last two rounds of Swiss were way faster than any of the previous rounds. Now, I don't know if that speaks to maybe the success rate of a just win mentality that you've brought up. I feel like there's always some kind of like term of the day with CEDH. We talked about the mid-range hell, the conversation around that, and all of the previous events. And we even saw some of that, some rounds going really late, some patience, a lot of deliberation about how to navigate turns, a lot of conservative gameplay. And then here in these last two rounds of Swiss, it's felt so much more about, okay, just jam. Get it done as quickly as possible. A jarring experience, and interested to see if that carries on through the top 16 and then into our finals. I've seen finals resolve in turn 2, and I've seen finals happen all the way through turn 7. So, CEDH, a very diverse format, a lot of diverse, different gameplay. Some games in fast, some slow, and in this case, a lot of players get it done very quickly, and that includes Ian Flannery. So that'll do it here for round number 7, the final round of Swiss here at Cowtown Throwdown, the largest CEDH event to date with 256 players is the cap. Of course, it capped. This is the TopDeck Championship Series after all. Platinum event, last platinum event before the Invitational. We will be having a top 16 here for you soon, where we will get the shape of our finals and see who is going to duke it out for their chance at a sword, a invite to the championship itself, and of course all the money and points that comes along with that. So with that, you have probably about a half an hour break before we are going to play out our top 16, see exactly what made it, what didn't, get another feature match for you, have some more high stakes CEDH for you, and of course all the lovely things that come along with that. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.